Well, thank you all for coming, and again, welcome to the Kiwanis Club of East Boston, a special night this evening, the Legion of Honor, and it's also our annual meeting. This time, I'd like to start the meeting. John, could you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
George, can you lead us in a song?
Please join me in God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
I give the invocation at every meeting of the Kiwanis, so I'm going to turn it over to the judge.
Lord God, our Heavenly Father, as we gather in camaraderie and love and affection with all of you, let us be mindful of all of the young men and women throughout the world, not only in the area of the Near East, but in the Philippines and all of the other battle forums where our children are in harm's way. Let us also thank the Lord for all of the gifts that we have been given throughout the years. Let us pray and keep mindful the people less fortunate than we are. And let us continue the work of Kiwanis, Freedom's Foundation, and the leadership and members that are in our minds and thoughts. We also ask that you bless this food to our use and bless us to your loving service. Amen.
Amen.
All right, we're going to get to dinner soon, but what I'd like to do is everybody have a seat, and I'd just like to call on everybody by each table just to introduce some of you. Tonight is a special evening, and we're all here, and I'd like to find out how many Kiwanians are in this room. Can you stand up? All Kiwanians? I know we have some guests tonight, so we'd like to welcome you all, and I'd like to call on the tables and just introduce briefly who you are. The Justinian Society, Sandra?
Yes, I'd like to introduce a table full of attorneys. Joe Boncory, attorney Chris Walsh, Kayla Fahey, John Ross. This is Angelica Adivanola, the lovely wife of Frank Adivanola, and Dr. Matt Mallon, our doctor.
I'm in law school now.
Can I have somebody from the Freedom's Foundation? Could you stand up and let us know who you're here with tonight?
They're all shy.
All quiet. All quiet on the eastern front over there.
I'm with the Freedom's Foundation and with the Bay State chapter. Our executive director is Judge Ferrino, one of the recipients. I'd like to introduce Steve and his lovely wife, Dorothy, and Philip and Mary Solis, that's us. Dottie D'Onofrio, everyone knows Dottie. Barbara and Eddie Savalas, and first name?
Stephen Roy.
Steve, and Paul, and Linda.
Thank you. And how about our friends from the Rotary? Are you guys here? Dino.
Hi, everyone. I'm Janice Woodman, and I'm a proud Rotarian, president. I have Assistant District Governor John Ferrino with me, and of course, my wonderful husband, Rob. We're here because of Judge Ferrino. We also belong to the Freedom Foundation.
Yep.
And I work at Boston Savings Bank, so I'm covering a lot of bases. But I just think it's a great night, and I'm so proud to be here.
Thank you, Ken. Yeah, anybody from the courthouse here? Maybe come.
Hi, we're all here, of course, for Judge Ferrino and Mr. Nucci and Mr. Lombardo. And of course, Judge Ferrino's our little boss. He was cracking the whip on us 25, 30, 35 years ago. We're here with Clerk Magistrate Ferretra and his wife Roz, and Probation Officer Cheryl Moon, and myself.
We have some of East Boston's finest standing. You're sitting with the Golden Age Club. They asked to have people in uniform sitting. Preferably males.
That's fine, I'm honored to be sitting here.
Yes, would you like to introduce some of the folks from Lou?
Yeah, she's introducing the Golden Age Club. Yeah. All right, you introduce the Vice President.
Thank you very much. You all belongings at that table, or is there any guests at this table? Any guests at this table? Do we have board memos? Janet?
Yes. Joan and Selby Remolo, formerly from Continental Cleaners, Vinnie Lombardo, and Georgina, Sal Georgina from Gazette, and Sherry Bradley from the
Dr. Yalagiri.
Franco Michelo, my wife, Dave's wife, and I don't know your name, I'm sorry. Oh, thank you.
Guests at our table over here, buddy?
Okay, this table, next to Columbus, the St. Francis Council, I have Grand Knight here, Freddie Martino, Peter Cavalisi over here, Deputy Grand Knight, also Mr. Joe Ruggiero, local businessman, and also a member of the St. Francis Council, Knights of Columbus, Tommy DiPaolo, Meridian Insurance, and his lovely wife Sheila with Project Red.
You guys at this table, Jerry, want to introduce your wife? Thank you. John?
My wife, Julianne.
So we need to get to the honorees tables. If somebody over at John Nucci, you want to introduce your family?
Hi. Sal over here with the Nucci family. We have John Nucci, Daniel Nucci, Laurie, and we have our new rep, Adrian Madaro. Number one reporter in East Boston, John.
Who's got the wrong voice at the table?
We're here with my sister Paula from Florida, Rhonda, Richard's wife, my sister-in-law. We have we have Pam Donnarumma, Granfield, and Nucci, Yolanda, and Bud.
And we'll be introducing you guys pretty soon at the ceremony, but if you want to join me in introducing, right? As a guest, you're a Kiwanian, so you need to introduce yourself.
It's my pleasure to introduce my wife who's with me tonight. She married me 35 years ago. She was from Dorchester, but ever since she married me, her home is East Boston. My wife, Karen.
This is my lovely wife, Cindy. We've been married for 33 years.
It's great to see everyone here celebrate 100 years of Kiwanis, and the three that we're honoring tonight, the honorees, we're here to celebrate and the milestones that they've reached are wonderful, and we'll get to that program in just a second. But first, I'd like to make a few announcements regarding the Kiwanis Club. There are a couple of interclubs, if you folks are interested. The first one is Wednesday, June 3rd, the Riviera Interclub. And our interclub here in East Boston is on June 16th. There will be a special Kiwani of the Year banquet on September 26th, on Saturday, September 26th, and we're going to be honoring a great Kiwanian, Mr. Ed Coletta, who's becoming secretary. I also want to remind you that we do have those calendars, the July calendar raffles. If you need to, if you want to purchase one of them, Bill has them. And at this time, I'd like to hand it over to our secretary, Ed Coletta.
I move that we temporarily close the regular meeting and open up our annual meeting.
Motion is made to close the temporarily meeting and open our annual meeting. Seconded?
Seconded.
Second, all in favor?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm here to announce the slate for the officers for the club year of 2015-2016. And so the slate. You want to go ahead?
Thank you, Kate.
So the slate of officers for the 2015-2016 club year are President Mary Jane Barber, Immediate Past President Clark Melason, President-elect John Swagel, Vice President Donna Shavat, Treasurer Bill Chisholm, Secretary Ed Coletta, and for the Board of Directors, a 3-year term, Andrea DiBattista. So do I hear any other nominations from the floor? Not hearing any. I move that we close the nominations for club officers for the 2015-2016.
Seconded. All in favor?
Aye. And as since there are no officers, up for with somebody running against them as club president, club secretary. I was past president. I move as secretary to cast the lone vote for the slate, and they're elected, and congratulations to all.
Need a motion from the floor to close the annual meeting and reopen the regular club meeting. So motion by Matt, seconded. All in favor? Thank you very much. Motion's passed. So now, let's get to why everybody's here. You told me that we'd be sitting here with these 3 honorees who represent so many of us in East Boston. They're coaches, they're mentors, they're professionals, and wonderful family men. And we're very excited and proud to have them as fellow Kiwanians. So this time, we'd like to bring them up one at a time. So the first one, I'd like to tell you a little bit about Mr. John Nucci. He was a school committee member, a city councilor, and he was clerk magistrate. The reason why I mentioned that he's a coach, because I didn't introduce my guest. My son over there was John was his Little League coach in the championship. John's mother came from Italy and settled here in East Boston and stayed here in East Boston. We're very proud to have him here. He's currently the Vice President of Suffolk University. It's my honor and pleasure to introduce Mr. John Nucci.
Thank you very much, Clark. It is great to be here, and I've got to tell you, I am both humbled and honored to receive this award. But I'm probably more humbled and honored to be in the company of my fellow awardees. To me, that's the greatest honor of the evening. You know, when you've been in politics for 25 or 30 years, you get to understand how to read a crowd. This is a Ferrino crowd. As well it should be. Judge Ferrino, to me, has been everything throughout my entire career, throughout really my upbringing here in East Boston. He's been a friend, he's been a mentor, and I know it's not just me. I know it's so many other young people in East Boston who he's given counsel and guidance to throughout the years. I can honestly say that without some of the wisdom that he's imparted to me, without some of the counsel, without some of the guidance, I perhaps may not have been able to do what I've done in my career. So I want to thank Judge Ferrino for that. And of course, Dennis Lombardo from the famous Lombardo family. And I see Vinny here tonight as well. Dennis has done great things for this community. His family has done great things for this community. His father was a wonderful man. Again, another mentor, another supporter, another friend, somebody who was very important to me in my young formative years in East Boston. Congratulations. You know, again, with a long career like I've had so far, you tend to get a lot of awards. This one is special. This one means something very special to me. The Kiwanis is something that is an organization that is so important to a community like East Boston because of its focus on the young people in the community. And you know, people sometimes say, well, why? You know, why do you belong to Kiwanis, and what exactly does Kiwanis do? Well, what Kiwanis does is take young people and mold them into men and women who become productive and contributing members of society. And what is a greater function than that? What's a more important function than taking young people and molding them and helping them to understand the values that are important, helping them understand the value of being part of a community and of contributing to that community. You know, when you look around and you say, you know, why, John, do you still live in East Boston? You were born here, you were raised here, you're still here. Why? Because I believe in East Boston. I believe East Boston is a great community. I believe the young people in East Boston grow up to be very important people. Just look around the room here tonight. Look at people like City Councilor Sal Lomatino. Look at people like our new state representative Adrian Madaro. Look at John Linz, growing up to be a great journalist, a profession of his own. Look at Joe Ruggiero, someone else I've known for years, growing up on St. Andrew Road. And look at the other products of East Boston who've gone on to great things like Clark Peretra, Sandra Caggiano. That's what East Boston's all about. East Boston's about young people moving ahead and becoming something in life. And you don't do that without help. And you don't do that without the help of people like these folks who belong to the Kiwanis, who want to see this community prosper and want to see the young people in this community get ahead and do things, do good things. So that's why I believe in Kiwanis. That's why I believe in East Boston. And that's why it makes this particular award that I'm getting just so very special. This one means a lot to me. It also means that I understand the value of family. I understand how important family is. And I just mentioned some young people who grew up to be great things. I can't go without mentioning my three boys. My oldest son, John, is here, an attorney at Vince Levin. My middle son, Michael, couldn't make it here tonight, a Boston police officer. And I want to thank the Boston police officers who are here for their great service. And my youngest son, Daniel, who just graduated from law school 2 days ago. So he's great. They too are products of East Boston. They too went through everything that I had as a youngster in East Boston, whether it was Little League and minor league and basketball programs, all the things that this community offers to young people. They were a part of it, and it helped them mold their character and create the values that they have now. Not to mention my wife Peggy, who had a little bit to it as well. So I don't want to take too much more time, except to tell you that this is a very special night for me. This is something that, as a lifelong East Bostonian, someone born and raised here, means a lot. If you grew up in East Boston, somehow, somewhere, at some point, your life was touched by the East Boston Kiwanis as an organization, or by the men and women who make up the East Boston Kiwanis, because that's the kind of people that they are. So thank you very much for this honor. It is a great honor for me. Appreciate it.
On behalf of the Kiwanis Club of East Boston, get ready. 30 years of service, John Nucci. Thank you. And as a 30 years of service, John's receiving his 30-year pin. You did a good job. Thank you.
I'd like to introduce Sal Valentino.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here. I first want to say, John, that I'm here for the judge, Ferrino. I'm not here for you. But since you're here, I want to take this opportunity to thank you for the work you do for East Boston. You know, John's been a mentor for me since I got involved in politics. He's always there, lending me his ear and always offer me advice. And a lot of times I don't take his advice and I get my head batted in the local newspaper or the major newspapers. But one thing I have to say about John Nucci, like he said, never forget where he came from. And as Suffolk University, he's helping East Boston all the time. I can't tell you how many times I call up and say, John, can you help me get a kid into college? And he's here all the time. And just recently, John is helping East Boston at East Boston Stadium, where Suffolk University will be in partnership with the City of Boston Parks Department, where they will have their home games at East Boston Stadium, and they will maintain the stadium for us, and have a banquet, John, right, for East Boston High School, and offering scholarships to the students in East Boston High School. So for that, John, I really appreciate what you do for us in East Boston. So on behalf of the Boston City Council, we do have a resolution for you, and I hope you put this in order, John. It's an official resolution. Be resolved that the Boston City Council extends its congratulations to John Nucci in recognition of their 30 years of service to the Kiwanis and our community. So congratulations.
I'd like to introduce Representative Adrian Madonna.
It's really a pleasure to be here, and when you look out in the crowd, you see some of the biggest movers and shakers in East Boston, the people who make this community a better place. So I'd like to give a round of applause to all of you, the Kiwanis. Thank you. All you do. it's special to be here with John because, you know, John talked about Kiwanians mentoring young people. Well, John has been a mentor of mine pretty much my whole life. I grew up in between Dan and Mike, two of his sons, and in fact, I went to Latin with Daniel. Congratulations on graduating Suffolk Law. It's a great accomplishment. Throughout my upbringing here in East Boston, John was always there. Good friend of my mom, and he always made sure I was doing the right thing, staying on the right track. And most recently, I became a student at Suffolk Law myself last year, and that John played a major role in kind of, yes he did, but he played a major role for that, John, thank you. So it's really a pleasure to be here tonight. I'm presenting citations on behalf of both myself and Anthony Petroselli, our good senator, is in the midst of budget deliberations, making sure that East Boston, Winthrop, and his other districts get taken care of in the state budget. So from the House of Representatives, this is a citation for you. And from the State Senate, I'll just read Anthony's, it's a little fancier. It says, he is majority whip now in the Senate, folks, so you know he's a big deal. But it says, John Nucci, congratulations from the Massachusetts Senate in recognition of being chosen by the East Boston Kiwanis Club for the Legion of Honor Award for 30 years of outstanding and dedicated service to the community and to the children around the world. John, thank you.
How about one more round of applause for Mr. John Nucci? Congratulations, John. Next, Mr. Dennis Lombardo. Now, I used to work at Lombardo's when I was a little younger. Yeah, last week. Worked at Lombardo's and had the pleasure of working with Fanny and your dad, Paula, and many others. The Lombardo family has always been a great working family and a benefactor to everybody in East Boston. And more than that, they're great Kiwanians. Dennis is Dennis Lombardo is the CFO of Lombardo Companies. He is an avid golfer, and he always beats his brother Vinny. That's true. Went to Phillips Andover, you're a graduate of UMass Amherst. And you have a daughter Jessica, and David, and Matthew. As a family man, he's not only a family man, but a great family business. He represents in Lombardo's, and we're so proud to have him here thank him for his 40 years of service to the Kiwanis Club of East Boston and to East Boston. Great honor pleasure to introduce Mr. Dennis Lombardo.
Thank you very much. That was a wonderful speech, spoken like a true Kiwanian. So I want to just congratulate John and Judge Ferrino for your continuous service to the Kiwanis Club. My father introduced me to Kiwanis 40 years ago, and he and the judge did a lot of work for many, many years here. My father loved the Kiwanis Club. It was his favorite organization, and the reason why it was his favorite organization because what John said, that they do a lot of work for the community and they do a lot of work for the kids. And they provide a lot of scholarships for kids in East Boston, and it's very rewarding. So I want to thank the members of Kiwanis and for the directors and officers for this recognition that you've given me tonight. Thank you very much.
this easy honor. Certificate, 4 years of service. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
One more.
How about a round of applause for Chairman Lombardo and the Lombardo family? Okay. Where do I start? Okay. Patrick, sorry about that.
I forgot about it.
Sorry, I forgot about the local politicians. Hold on.
That's going up, oh boy.
Sal and the agent with some stickers.
Thank you again. It's a great honor to be here to honor Dennis Lombardo. And as we honor you, we honor your family. Sal was a great man. Spent a lot of time with Sal. And Vinny, I still harass him all the time. Well, he harasses me. But anytime I need something, I call Lombardo's, and they are always there for East Boston. So with that, on behalf of the Boston City Council, Dennis, I want to congratulate you for your 40 years of service to East Boston.
City Council, he's a gem. Dennis, it's an honor to present you with citations on behalf of Senator Petroselli and myself. It goes without saying, your family has been one of the most philanthropic families to East Boston. In my 26 years of living here, you know, we hear Lombardo all the time doing good things for our neighborhood, and that's in the true spirit of being a Kiwanian. So congratulations on your honor. And here are some citations from the House of Reps and from the Senate here. Congratulations. I know you're talking.
I promise I won't forget you guys again. So, where do I start with the judge? Well, I'm going to mention a few things, but I don't think we have enough time to mention what the judge has done and who he is and what he's meant to the Kiwanis Club of East Boston and East Boston in general and Winthrop and so many other places. Just a few of the things, some of his veterans activities. He's a national commander of AMVETS. He was delegate to the World Veterans Foundation, national judge advocate for AMVETS, member of Disabled American Veterans, civic affiliations. He's a former co-publisher of the East Boston Leader, neighborhood commissioner, District 8, Boy Scouts, district chairman, Boy Scouts of America, executive board of Boston Council of Boy Scouts of America, Juror Freedoms Foundations. And like I said, I can go on and on. There's just too much here with so many years of service. And I can tell you, and everybody in this room can tell you, that those 50 years of service as a Kiwanian, Judge Joseph Ferrino has served every one of those 50 years. Very actively. Always there, not only at meetings, but activities. And what you guys have said about the judge is just, you can only say so much. So, at this time, without any further ado, I'm going to introduce to you retired Judge Joseph V. Ferrino.
First and foremost, I would like to give a brief little resume about the start of a life that has been very rewarding to me. But I like to interject a couple of things about my family, more especially my mother and father. They came here as immigrant parents. 1904, my father came first and couldn't afford the steerage, the cost of steerage for my mother until 2 years later, when he brought my mother over. Why do I give you this background? Because but for agencies that were then in place, just starting to be in place, to help immigrants, to help people who had nowhere to go, couldn't speak the language, and taught themselves or with friends to speak the language. And I remember very vividly when my mother was a factory worker as a candy dipper. My father was a stonemason, and between the two of them they worked. And there was a little then starting group from the Trinity Church that had brought in some social workers here to East Boston on Princeton Street, and they called themselves the Trinity Church group, and they started accepting young children. And I remember my mother, we were living on Brook Street in those days, going up the hill they had moved from Princeton Street to Meridian Street, and there was a place up there that they called the Meridian House. Meridian House took in youngsters whose parents worked, and I was 3.5 and didn't make the 4-year-old need to be 4 years old before they can accept you into a daycare there. I remember a woman by the name of Miss Morris Grove who had a shock of hair that was silver and almost white, that answered the door when my mother, carrying me, brought me to the Trinity House in those days and asked for help. She could barely make herself understood as to what she was looking. She said, I need some help. I can't afford to get a person to stay with my child, and I have to go to work, and this and that. So she looked down at her, and she says, I'm going to make an exception. We'll take good care of your son. And that was Joe Ferrino, Jr. And that was the start of my involvement with Trinity House, the East Boston Social Centers, the Boy Scouts. I was a Scoutmaster there, and so. The reason I tell you this background is while you're giving me all these accolades, I always felt from those days to the present day that I owe this community. This community gave me life, gave me refuge, and gave me the opportunity to learn about leadership, to learn about returning some of what you get back to the community. And I lived by that all my life. And I tell you that just by way of passing, the accomplishments that have been made are these wonderful people that we honor tonight, the people that are in the audience here, who, without whom we wouldn't have done what what we've been able to do and the accomplishments that they make us proud, because every time you turn around, there's somebody from East Boston being honored. There's somebody from East Boston making an accomplishment, receiving an award. Why? Because this is a great, great community. East Boston, and up and around the whole of the city, East Boston is one of the more active communities by the people that live there, who belong to either the Boy Scouts, to the in sports. I think we excel at every level, from T-ball up to park league and so on. We've always been an athletic community, and it's because of coaches like the people that are here, people that are there, the women with their church work, the people that belong to Freedom's Foundation, to Kiwanis. But I must say that Kiwanis has been and still is one of the most active community organizations that there are, with the kind of leadership that's been given by your honorees here tonight, and with a special thank you to posthumously to people like Pat Rosa, people like Joe Sanchez, people like Sal Lombardo, and many, many others whose names, if I started, it would be tomorrow, and I'd still be talking about people that in Kiwanis that have done so much. And there were people that were already successful businessmen, successful in all of their walks of life, and were doing the things that have been talked about, and lawyers, doctors that are in the community, and working people, entrepreneurs with businesses that have made that success in spite of the times. I remember when East Boston was going to be another Mattapan, all the stores were closed, boarded up, and so on. And when that was happening, Sal Lombardo and other entrepreneurs would pick up that store, paint it, put in something, a business. Started with one little store on Porter Street, his family, mother and father. So I'm eulogizing, even though these people had done so much, and you're still doing it. And I'm honored to be the recipient and of this award, because it was a labor of love. I learned so much from the people, from my predecessors. I learned how to give, and I learned that in giving, you receive. And I want to thank you all for being here tonight to honor our people and myself. Thank you very much.
On behalf of the Kiwanis Club of East Boston, we're proud to give the certificate to each of honor for 50 years of service 50 wonderful years. Really appreciate that.
You go ahead. Okay, hold on.
All right, stay here, Joe.
Yep.
You have to, there's,
Wait for you, Joe.
Judge Ferrino, it is an honor for me, on behalf of everyone here, to honor you tonight. You mean so much to this Boston. And what I love about you, and I have known you for many years, you never forget where you came from. And you always take care of East Boston. Your service at the East Boston Courthouse, you served with honor. You made the people of East Boston proud. You took care of this neighborhood. You understood people in East Boston. And so I know that there's not much more we can say than just that we love you. We appreciate everything you did for us in East Boston. You do for us. Continue to do for us. So on behalf of the Boston City Council, I want to extend this resolution to recognize your 50 years of service to the Kiwanis neighborhood. So congratulations. And you made the Italian American community very, very proud.
all three times.
50 years. Folks, there's no finer example of a gentleman, a scholar, and a Kiwanian in this community than Judge Ferrino. I don't think there's one corner of East Boston or one person whose life he hasn't touched. And as a son of an immigrant like you, I hope to follow in your footsteps and be half the public servant that you have been to this community. And it is an absolute honor and a privilege, Judge, to present you with these citations, one from the House of Representatives and one for our good Senator Anthony Petroselli. Thank you for all you do. We're blessed to have you in East Boston, Judge.
Again, I approach the microphone. I'm not used to speaking, you know. But I do want to say that with the many friends who identified themselves earlier for being here, you know, there was an old expression that there isn't a person in the world that doesn't need another person in their lifetime, and it's the truth. And I look out onto the platform, from the platform to the wonderful turnout of people for the other recipients and their friends and families. And I want to thank you personally for making this night a memorable one. And I hope that the good Lord keeps me around for a while so that I can do a little mentoring in the future. Thank you. Thank you.
On behalf of the Kiwanis Club of East Boston, I'd like to thank you all. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Seconded? Thank you all for coming. Have a wonderful evening.
Still
Thank you.